All right, so we just have about 2 minutes till we get started. And we have a few people that have joined in from Abuja, Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining in. We just have about 2 minutes and we kick off. I hope you all are as excited as I am. Charlie, today is going to be a very informative and wonderful session. We'll be glad you did not miss this. All right, we just have about a minute to go and we get started. There are a few more people joining in. All right, thank you very much, everybody. Greetings to you all from wherever you are all over the world. I'm very excited to be with you guys on this Zoom meeting where we're going to be having a webinar that honestly could change your life, right? So this webinar is actually brought to you by Forward Edge Consulting Limited, right? Forward Edge Consulting Limited is your trusted partner in the world of cybersecurity. Forward Edge Consulting is dedicated to empowering individuals and businesses, ensuring that they thrive in today's digital landscape. With a track record of success and a commitment to innovation, Forward Edge brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to the cybersecurity arena. Get ready to embark on a journey of learning and discovery with Forward Edge Consulting Limited at our cybersecurity webinar, where we'll be discussing your seamless transition into cybersecurity and giving you a roadmap for success. If that is not exciting, then I don't know what is. So we have a series of wonderful speakers that are going to be coming to talk to you about different topics, ranging from building, the foundations in cybersecurity, what you need to know, what is going to be useful for you. We'll be answering so many different questions, like how possible is it to transition into cybersecurity? Is it possible for somebody that has never had a background in computer, knowledge before to come into cybersecurity? We're going to answer everything, right? So this is going to be a very wonderful session. And as we are starting now, I would like to start with our first speaker, which is myself, actually. My name is Ezini Kalu. I'm an ethical hacker and a standout cybersecurity engineer. Cybersecurity has been part and parcel of my life since 2019. After I won the Cyber Safe Linux CTF in 2023, and I was a finalist in the competitive CCN CTF 2023 and Digital Encode Hackathon. My personal journey into cybersecurity began as a hobby, and I have since turned it into a full-time career. Right, so I'm going to be talking to you guys today about cybersecurity foundations, understanding the basics, the simple things behind cybersecurity. So I'm going to go ahead right now, share my screen, and we get started. Thank you all for joining us today. So let's get started with the first speaker, that is me. Let me share my screen and we can start. Yeah, so I hope you guys can see my screen. Please confirm that you can by typing something in the chat. Please confirm that you can see my screen so that I can go ahead. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah, okay, confirmations coming in. Thank you guys very much. Wonderful. So today I will talk to you guys about cybersecurity foundations and understanding the basics. What is cybersecurity all about? There's a lot of words you hear when you think of cyber and security, like virus, cyber attacks, rootkits, ransomware, web shells, and so many other terms, right? But before I start to explain and delve into each and every one of those terms, I want you guys to keep this quote in mind throughout this webinar and moving forward. It is from one of my favorite people, Eckhart Tolle. He says, before you can build something great, you must first lay a solid foundation. And I'm sure we all agree, right? Before you can build a fortress, before you can build your houses, before you can build anything, your career, your businesses, you have to have your foundations solid, right? So keep this quote in mind as we proceed, and you'll see why in a moment. Did you guys know that by 2025, cybercrime is expected to cost the global economy $10.5 trillion a year? That is about $20 million every minute. And these are the countries that experience the most cyber attacks since 2006. I have this little infographic here to show us that the world of cybersecurity is a global business, right? Cybersecurity is a global business. It affects every country as far as they're connected to the internet. Right? The name implies cyber and security, right? So remember, keep that in mind. The global thing that we're talking about, it's a global issue, and it's a global, it's set for the entire world to solve the problems of cybersecurity. Now, did you know that 3 in 10 users have been, excuse me, have been victims of data breaches due to weak passwords, right? And this was by a study that was done by good firms. And I'm sure everybody here at some point have repeated their passwords, or have like one password for everything that they are doing. And I must say that is a dangerous practice, because it is easy. If I have one of your passwords, that means all your passwords are now compromised. So you can imagine how terrible that would be, especially for everybody that has at least 50 different
There is a
subscriptions at
problem with
any
your
given
audio.
time. I
There's
hope
a
you guys
problem
can
with
hear me
your audio.
clearly. I'm getting some kind of feedback. Please confirm that you can hear me. All right. Someone said they can hear me clearly. Can you hear me? Please confirm. Can someone on the team please confirm that I can be heard? Just type in the chat. It's breaking. What about now? Not clearly. Still breaking. Okay, let me turn off my video. Can you guys still see my screen and hear me? I can hear you, but breaking. Oh, so sorry about that, everyone. Is it still breaking? I have confirmed that my network is fine. I can hear you, but breaking. Your audio is still
Maybe it's your
breaking.
mic. Maybe it's your mic or something. Maybe it's your mic.
1 second. How about now? Can you hear me now? Okay, it's okay from your end, right? Wow, that's wonderful to know.
In a break, it's breaking.
Can you guys hear me now?
It's breaking. It's breaking on my end.
Okay, let me switch. Oh, is this better? Can you guys hear me now?
This is good. This is good now. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Sorry about that. Pardon me, please. Just a mishap. All right, so let's continue, right? I was telling you guys how terrible it is to have weak passwords. And this is actually one of the biggest problems that we face in cybersecurity, because human error is our biggest enemy, right? Now, I'm sure after saying, everybody must have heard, don't repeat your password. Use a different password for every
thing, make extremely, complex passwords. But how are you going to remember all of that, right? That's why I'm sure a lot of you are like here, like says change your password every 60 days. Nobody has time for that. But you should actually have time for that because it's a very important security practice. And that is what we're here for as cybersecurity professionals. We have to do what we are telling others to do, right? Now, what would happen if your organization's critical data is compromised? Think about it. What would actually happen? It leads to financial losses, reputational damage, sometimes even legal consequences, right? A lot of companies have had to come on to apologize to the general public because of their poor security practices that led to data breaches or customers losing their assets, right? So it is a very big problem if critical data of an organization has been compromised. This is in addition to the financial losses and the possible reputational damage that could come out from that. So, for example, if you heard that a particular bank has problems with people with their ATM cards and all that, you wouldn't want to go bank with them, right? So this is the importance of keeping yourself secure at all times, and it starts with as simple as a good, strong, not reused passwords. So we're going to go ahead straight up to talk about some fundamental cybersecurity terms that everybody should know, especially people that are planning to be cybersecurity professionals. These are some of the terms that you come across in your day-to-day activities as a cybersecurity professional. You need to be able to know each and every one of them and differentiate between them. So we have cybersecurity, of course, which is the practice of protecting computer systems, networks, and data from theft, damage, or unauthorized access. That is cybersecurity. That is what we're here for. We have a vulnerability. You hear about vulnerabilities a lot. A vulnerability is a weakness or a flaw in a system security that could be exploited by attackers. Then we have threats. Threats is any potential danger or harmful event that can compromise the security of a system or organization. From these two, from these two definitions, you can see that vulnerabilities already exist, and then threats exploit vulnerabilities, basically. A threat wants to exploit whatever weakness or flaw that is already present, right? So a vulnerability is not inherently a problem until it is exploited during an attack by a threat, where an attack means an intentional action or series of actions that exploit vulnerabilities to compromise the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of data or systems. Like I said, confidentiality, integrity, or availability. Mark these three words. We're going to be talking about them further. Now, I hope you guys are taking notes actually, because we have a lot to cover. We have firewall, which I'm sure you guys must have heard of firewall in some context before. It's a network security device or a software that filters incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predefined security rules. Remember that we cannot talk about the cyber security without talking about networks, right? So everything has to do with network. The internet is interconnected network, right? That is how internet works. I hope you guys can still hear me in chat. Yes, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Thank you very much, Damilola. Please, everybody should note that. The next word we have here is encryption. Encryption is the process of converting data into a code to prevent unauthorized access, and it ensures confidentiality, right? So encryption is just one of those methods, that we can use to secret, right? We have authentication and authorization, where authentication is the process of verifying the identity of a user, device, or system trying to access resources, and authorization is granting or denying access to specific resources or actions based on authenticated user privileges. Now, at this point, I always like to, ask a question, right, to you guys, to think about it. Which one is more important, and which one comes first? Is it more important to authenticate or to authorize, and which one comes first? So it's a fun thing to talk about. Do you verify the identity of a user or system that is trying to access before authorizing them, right? So please think about it. You can drop your answers in the chat as well if you want. Yeah, I'm already seeing some answers, but I would answer it at the presentation. So let's continue. We have second. Yeah, we have social engineering. Social engineering is one that you might not have come across. It involves manipulating individuals to divulge confidential information or perform actions that compromise security. Social engineering is all about hacking humans. You can call social engineering human hacking, basically. So, like I said, it's our own human flaws that cause us the most problems in this world. So, social engineering is actively manipulating those problems. Actually, we have something called a zero-day vulnerability. You come across this often in the workplace. The zero-day vulnerability is a special type of the vulnerability that we talked about that is exploited by the attackers before a vendor can provide a patch, right? So here we have a specific vulnerability that just came out of nowhere. There's no solution for it yet, and the vendor is yet to provide a patch and it has been exploited. So we have endpoint security. This particular term confused me a lot when I first started in cybersecurity because I didn't understand what endpoints were. So endpoints are basically your devices, right? Endpoint is any device that is connected to your network or every system that you're using. So it can be things like your computers, your smartphones, your tablets, your cameras, your smart doors, your smart lights, etc. Right? So endpoint security means protecting these devices from security threats because everything can be hacked, right? Now we have incident response. This is a very crucial one that you come across. It also comes up in like job interviews a lot, where you have they ask you what is incident response. So like the steps that can be taken in an incident response, right? This is the process of addressing and mitigating the effects of a cybersecurity incident or breach. We have and so many more cybersecurity that we have, right? So it's a lot, right? So these are some of the cybersecurity terms that you come across on a day-to-day basis as a cybersecurity professional. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the dynamic landscape of cyber threats. Cybersecurity on its own, the internet was not built for security, right? When they were building the internet, and generally, it's a thing you notice when talking about security. Lots of people don't implement security until there's already problems, right? So it's not a very good practice. If you can, I don't know if you guys must have read. I'm sure the entire world knows about 9/11, the 9/11 events, and it was because of the 9/11 events that a lot of people stopped flying, and because a lot of people stopped flying, they decided to allow airports officials to start searching bags, right? To foster that kind of like security and make sure that people aren't carrying what they are supposed to carry on an airplane. So it was after a tragic event that they decided to put in security. And this is the thing for the internet. When the internet was made, there was no provision for security. It was after problems started coming up, after the first virus came up, after the second virus, ransomware, and attackers kept on coming up with different things, that cybersecurity became a huge thing. As you can see from this infographic that I have here, we have malicious code, Trojans, and advanced worms coming up between 1997 to 2004. This was before the internet. This was way before, what we know as the internet now had come into existence, right? And cyber threats already exist, right? So, they kept on getting more complicated. People started doing identity theft, and phishing became a thing. Fun fact, phishing is the most dangerous cyber attack, and it leads to the most losses every year, while business email compromise is the biggest for businesses, right? So, and business email compromise is based off of phishing as well. So some of these attacks, they are all linked to each other. It's an evolution. Attackers keep evolving, right? So as cybersecurity people and as people that are security conscious, security minded, we have to know how these threats keep evolving and be able to battle it every single step of the way. So we have between 2007 to 2010, we had a lot of DNS attacks. That was where botnets rose up. Botnets is connection of different computers on a network that are being used for simultaneous attacks at the same time. We have SQL attacks, anti-spam sites, competitive sabotage escalation, and so much more, right? Then they moved on to still kind of make the threats more and more complex. We have social engineering, DOS. DOS is denial of service. botnets, malicious email, ransomware attacks, POS compromise. All these things are different cyber threats that keep coming up every year, right? So 2013 to present, we have banking malware, keylogger scams, Bitcoin wallet stealers. This came up that, crypto became very popular. Identity theft, phone hijacking, ransomware, POS attacks, cyber warfare, Android hacking, and so much more. Attackers do not rest. So it's very common when you're in the cybersecurity space to hear things like, cyber defenders don't sleep because cyber offenders don't sleep as well. It is a daily, an hourly, a secondly practice, right? Cybersecurity is an active field where you are constantly trying to make sure that you are secure, keep yourself secure, keep your organization secure, right? So moving on, we have the crucial role of cybersecurity professionals. And as you can see here, I've used a hero to depict cybersecurity professionals because we are the heroes. If you remember from my first slide, where I have the infographic showing you that by 2025, $10.5 trillion is going to be lost in cyber crimes, right? So that is a mind-boggling amount of money. And it is the role of cybersecurity professionals to mitigate things and problems like that, right? So now, as a cybersecurity professional, there's a lot you think of doing. There's a lot you can do actually, but it all boils down to these primary three things. Now, these three things, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, is the CIA triad. And the CIA triad is arguably the most important concept every cybersecurity professional is supposed to be aware of and is supposed to have the back of their mind. Why is it so? What's so important about, the CIA triad? Why does it govern a lot of what we do in cybersecurity, right? It is so because this CIA triad encompasses everything that, security needs to be. Things must be kept confidential, meaning that only those that are supposed to know about it should know about it. Things should have integrity, meaning that only the exact state that it was kept in is the exact state that it should be retrieved in. And things should be kept available. So if you have, if you have kept a piece of information confidential, you've kept it secret, and it's unchanged, that's the integrity is also on point, that means it should also be available, right? Because let's think about it, guys. If you have a safe where you want to store something that is very important to you, maybe a very, very important document to you, maybe your international passport, for example, and you have kept that international passport in a safe where it is locked up and you cannot even access said safe. Of course, it negates the point of your security because it's no longer available, right? So this triad is one of arguably the most important thing that you keep in mind. And you remember that we keep talking about cybersecurity professionals, but you get to remember that there are a lot of roles under cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is very dynamic and it's an extremely large field. And in the cybersecurity landscape, there's room for everybody. So there are different roles and career paths, and there's so many things you can do, whether you're a technical person, a non-technical person, whatever, right? There's a role for you in cybersecurity. So I'm not going to expand much on that. We actually have our speaker that is going to break it down for you guys and give you everything that you need to know about the cybersecurity profession, break down all the roles and everything about each and every one of them for you to be able to get a perfect fit for yourself, right? So if you have any questions so far, you can go ahead to drop them in the chat box. We'll be having an FAQ section. Now, confidentiality, like I said, ensures authorized access. Only those with permission can view or modify your data. Imagine it like having a secret code only certain people know. We implement access, cybersecurity professionals implement access controls, encryption, and other measures to keep your data confidential. While integrity is all about guaranteeing accuracy, your data remains unaltered and trustworthy. Think of it like a perfectly balanced scale that is never tipped by misinformation. We use data validation, intrusion detection, and other tools to protect data integrity. Availability is to maintain accessibility, making sure that you can always access that data when you need it. Imagine it like a reliable bridge that is always open for authorized passage. We ensure system uptime, implement backups, and respond to outages to guarantee data availability. So this is our role as cybersecurity professionals. These are the things that we are supposed to do in whatever specific path we find ourselves. We all keep coming back to the CIA triad, making sure that everything is linked together perfectly to ensure authorized accuracy and maintain accessibility. Right? Thank you, guys. So this is an infographic that I have to show you the information technology cybersecurity salary in the United States. This is just one of many. We are going to break this down for everybody to understand, what this infographic means. Our speaker is going to do that for us. But it goes to show you how much a country like the United States is willing to spend on cybersecurity professionals that are going to come and perform that crucial role and keep the data and organizations safe. Right, so with that, that is actually the end of my presentation. I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now. Thank you guys so much for listening to me. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Like I said, we're going to be having an FAQ section to answer everybody's question, and I hope you have learned a lot from that session. If you learned something, you can go ahead and type it in the chat for other people to know. Just a quick recap, we talked about different fundamental cybersecurity terms. We talked about cyber threats, evolution, and finally, we went ahead to talk about the crucial role of cybersecurity professionals. Thank you so much for listening to me, and we go ahead to move on to our next speaker. So our next speaker actually is someone that is personally very inspiring to me. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our next speaker, Mr. John O'Day. He is a highly accomplished cybersecurity practitioner. He exhibits a thorough understanding of ethical hacking methods and uses his certification as an ethical hacker to strengthen digital systems against possible attacks. John is a malware analyst that focuses on dissecting harmful software and figuring out its intricate workings to create strong defenses. John is a committed cybersecurity instructor who shares his knowledge with others in addition to his work as an ethical hacker and malware analyst. His enthusiasm for imparting knowledge and creating a safe online space makes him an invaluable asset to the education of upcoming cybersecurity experts. That is Mr. John O'Day that is going to be giving us the next presentation. Thank you very much, John, for being here to speak with us. Please go ahead. The floor is yours. Hi, John, please unmute. We can't hear you speaking. Thank you.
On C and C++. So currently I am your cybersecurity instructor in Forward Edge Consulting for the next for the upcoming boot camp. So I'm glad to welcome all of you on board. Okay, so I am the second speaker, and I will be people on skills mastery, building blocks for cybersecurity success. Skills mastery, building blocks for cybersecurity success. Okay, so let's move on. So the first topic here I'm going to be telling you people about is essential skills every aspiring cybersecurity professional should have. Now, these essential skills are the prerequisite for every aspiring cybersecurity professional. You need to understand some of these, in fact, these skills to be able to navigate your cybersecurity niche or career properly. So we are going to be talking about the first one on the list here is acquaintance with operating systems and virtual machines. Acquaintance with operating systems and virtual machines. Now, when I started my journey as into cybersecurity as a certified, as an ethical hacker, I started off with operating systems. I made sure I got myself acquainted with Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. I also made sure I got myself acquainted with virtual machines. So now I'm going to explain to you what a virtual machine is. Now, a virtual machine is just like your physical computer system in form of software that is built and run on a virtualization software such as VirtualBox, VMware, and Q Emulator. I repeat myself again, a virtual machine is just like your physical computer system in form of software that is built to run on a virtualization software such as VirtualBox, VMware, or Q Emulator. So the first thing I did, I got myself acquainted with these operating systems. I installed Windows and Linux on my virtualization software, which is VirtualBox, which I like to use mostly. So when I installed these virtual machines, I began to tinker with different parts of the operating systems so that I can be able to understand their workings and other things like system logs, like how to use the terminal, like where they store files and how to copy, how to paste. In fact, all these basic things, I made sure I got myself acquainted with all these things. Now, after I got myself acquainted with these operating systems and virtual machines, I went on to programming and scripting. So that was in 2016. I started off with Python before I now switched into C++, and then I now switched into C, and then into x86 assembly language. So now this programming has helped my life as a cybersecurity professional, like a cybersecurity practitioner. So I got myself acquainted with programming. Now, one of the benefits that programming has to you as an aspiring cybersecurity professional is that it will help you to understand how software works, like all these websites, the technologies they use, and the programming languages used to build them. Now, for example, let me give you an example. If you want to navigate into the part of, let me say, penetration testing or ethical hacking or any other field in cybersecurity, you need to understand some programming languages. Now, these programming languages will help you to spot errors like bugs or help you to spot vulnerabilities and show you the error the programmer did, like the mistake the programmer did when building that particular website or web application or software. So programming helped, in fact, it has helped me from when I started my career into cybersecurity till now. So I also learned scripting. And one of the scripting this I normally use is the Linux bash, the born again shell this thing on the Linux terminal. So the Linux bash helps you as a cybersecurity professional to automate tasks. Like you can build script that can turn off your Linux system at certain times and also turn it off at certain times. You can also build script that can help you to stop some services on your Linux machine and also start some services on your Linux machine. You can also build scripts to help you to monitor logs on your Linux machine or on your Windows machine, for example, understand? So it will help you to detect, for example, unauthorized login or attempt at logins. So this scripting helped my life as a cybersecurity professional over the years. And like I said, I built my script using these two, Python or Linux Bash. So, and you can even combine both of them together, Python and Linux. Sorry, Python and Linux Bash to build a script, like a well-advanced script that can help to perform advanced level tasks on your Linux machine or your Windows. But for the Windows, we don't use Linux Bash. You can make use of Linux Bash on your Windows by installing some software like CYGwin or other like WSL, Windows subsystem for Linux, to be able to execute Linux command on your Windows. Okay, so I've talked about acquaintance with operating systems and virtual machines, right? I've also talked about programming and scripting. So the next one here is networking knowledge. Now, computer networking, like it's just a way of connecting two or more computers together for the sole purpose of communication, like seamless communication between these computers. So now for the networking knowledge, I got myself acquainted with Cisco networking concept, like the networking concept provided by Cisco. I got myself acquainted with this concept, like the computer network models, OSI and TCP/IP model. Now OSI stands for Open Source Interconnection, while the TCP/IP also stands for Transport Control Protocol and Internet Protocol model. I got myself acquainted with these models. Now this model is just like a reference, like a layer that helps all these computer manufacturers or people that develop networking devices to be able to build the networking device properly, so that it can enhance communication between two computerized devices. So I also got myself equipped with network protocols like DNS, HTTP, HTTPS, and the rest of other protocols, like the rest of other network protocols. I also got myself acquainted with subnetting, firewalls, and routers. So now, basically, from my point of view, cybersecurity, it just like most of the things you will be doing is like it reflects around networking. For example, remote login, remote access, in fact, all these things. So you need to understand networking, computer networking. So you need to get yourself acquainted with all these things, and we will be teaching you people all these things in the upcoming boot camp. So I also got myself acquainted with security tools. Now, remember from the first step here, I mentioned acquaintance with operating systems, right? Now, when I installed Linux and Windows virtual machines, I started playing around with the security tools on Linux, like Wireshark, Snort, Metasploit, Nessus, CM. Now, Snort is it's a software-based intrusion detection system and intrusion prevention system. Understand? Okay, so now hello, can anyone hear me? I hope people are still with me, right?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Hi, John. We can hear you.
Okay, so I started playing around with these security tools on my Linux, but the Linux distro I installed was Kali Linux, and that is the distro I've been using till now. So now I made sure I got myself acquainted with Wireshark, Snort, and like I was saying, Snort is software-based intrusion detection system and intrusion prevention system. Then we have the Metasploit, just like a framework that consists of exploits you can use to perform attacks or perform reconnaissance on other systems. Then we have Nessus here for vulnerability assessment. Then we have CM, which stands for Security Information and Event Management. Now, this security information and event management helps you as a cybersecurity professional or a network administrator to be able to monitor logs or other activities that is happening on your on your network. What CM does is it gathers information or logs from different parts of the organization's network and then compile it in a central, like at a central place, so that a cybersecurity professional or security expert would go there and analyze all the activities that went on or that is still going on in the network of the organization. Okay, so security awareness, and security awareness is one of the essential skills. It's one of the essential skills that all aspiring cybersecurity professionals should have. Now, you have to keep yourself updated with cybersecurity trends, such as latest or recent threats, vulnerabilities, or cyber attacks. So you need to keep yourself updated, like about recent threats, vulnerabilities, or cyber attacks, so that you can be able to protect your organization properly. So now, the reason is this, there's a saying that goes like this: when you are not informed, you are deformed. So how can you protect your company's or your organization's device, or in fact your personal devices, without a proper knowledge of recent threats or vulnerabilities? that is ongoing in the cyber world. So you need to be always security conscious and update yourself with latest cybersecurity threats or cyber attacks. Okay, we also have here the security frameworks and standards. Now, for these security frameworks and standards, we have the ISO and IEC 27001. We also have the NIST Cybersecurity Framework and Open Web Application Security Project. Now, for the ISO IEC 27001, it's just like how do they call it? It's just like an information, like an international standard for information security management system. Like it provides a systematic approach to managing sensitive company information, thereby ensuring confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now, it also outlines a set of requirements and controls that organizations can implement to establish and maintain effective information security practices. So it outlines requirements that organizations have to follow to be able to protect or make sure that their security posture is robust. Understand? So for the NIST Cybersecurity Framework, it also does that. And then we have the Open Web Application Security Project, which is on how do they call it? Threats and attacks to web applications. So we also have soft skills. So as an aspiring cybersecurity professional, you need to also develop soft skills such as communication and collaboration, analytical and critical thinking, and problem-solving skills with attention to detail. Now, all these things is a must. So, for example, if you don't have a problem-solving skills and your organization or you yourself is faced with a particular problem that you need to solve with your cybersecurity skills. Now, if you don't have a problem-solving skills, you will just leave, like you will not be able to perform or solve that particular problem. Understand? So you need to have all this. You need to be able to think critically, and you need to be able to communicate properly. For example, if you are working as a cybersecurity expert in an organization and you made your finding or your research on that organization or the organization's network, and you can't communicate your findings properly to the organization or to your bosses now, or to your superiors, now that will not be okay for you as a person working for that organization. So you need to be able to communicate properly your findings and your research to your superiors. And also you need to be able to have this skill of collaboration. You need to be able to work together as a team to profile solution to a particular problem in your organization. And also you need to be able to think and analyze things critically. You don't just see things as they are. You need to think deep as a cybersecurity expert or professional. And this bootcamp, which we are which is going to be starting March, will teach you all these things. So now we also have the continuous learning. Now, for the continuous learning, and that is you as a cybersecurity professional, of course, if you don't update your skill set, if you don't keep yourself updated, if you don't keep your knowledge updated in cybersecurity, then you become and like how do they call it? Like your stand in the cyberspace will fade away quickly. So continuous learning and practice is essential to stay at the top of your chosen cybersecurity niche. Staying updated with the latest technologies and vulnerabilities, participating in conferences and training programs, and continuous practice by getting yourself more acquainted with the security tools available out there will give you an edge among your peers. So you need to always like continue learning, always updating your skills, because most of all these cyber attackers, they're always updating their skills. They're always making sure they're always on top of their malicious activities. So you as a cybersecurity expert, you also need to keep yourself updated, your knowledge and your skills. In fact, everything you have that is everything you have within you, you need to dedicate it to learning continuously and updating yourself in the cybersecurity niche you are in. Okay. So now the topic 2 here is identifying and mitigating cyber risks, a practical approach. Identifying and mitigating cyber risks, a practical approach. So now for this part here, okay, I put it this way. I say for this practical I am going to demonstrate a DOS attack using two virtual machines, a Kali Linux virtual machine and a Parrot OS virtual machine. Now, the Kali Linux virtual machine will serve as the target's machine, while the Parrot OS will serve as the attacker's machine. Now, the DOS attack will be detected or identified on the target's machine, which is the Kali Linux virtual machine, and a firewall rule will be implemented on the target's machine to prevent future DOS attacks from the attacker's machine. Okay, so for that, I have this image here, the attacker machine here, which is the Parrot OS virtual machine, and then the victim, which is the Kali Linux virtual machine. So I'm going to quickly share with you people my my screen right now for the Kali Linux VM and the Parrot OS Security Edition. I'm coming. Let me share that. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the victim machine, which is the Kali Linux. Where should that be? Okay. So I believe you all can see my Kali Linux. This is my Kali Linux virtual machine right now. So I'm going to demonstrate a DOS attack from the attacker's machine, which is the Parrot operating system, to the victim machine here, which is the Kali Linux operating system. And over here, I have my Parrot OS Security Edition running here. This is my Parrot virtual machine. So before we do that, I am going to be targeting port 80 of the victim's machine. So here I have my Kali Linux running. So I'm going to run a scan using Nmap. Now, Nmap is a tool that you can use to scan for network, like for network hosts, live network hosts, in fact, in a network. So it also used to perform footprinting. So I'm going to run it. Okay, so I have my port for port 80. That is my port 80 is not running right now. So I'm going to start it up because I'm going to use that port for the DOS attack. So I'm coming sudo have it here. Okay, so I have this command here, sudo systemctl start apache 2. Now the systemctl is a Linux command that you use to start services on your Linux distros. It starts the service as a daemon. Like a daemon is a background service, that is services or programs or process that runs in the background. We call them daemon. So DAMO, daemon. So I'm going to start this Apache web server right now. So I'm going to put in my Kali password. Okay, so let me confirm if the Apache service is running. So I'm going to status. Okay, so it's active, and I'm also going to confirm that using my Nmap. I'm going to scan the local. We go back to my OS to see if my Parrot operating system can connect to my Kali Linux virtual machine, which is the target machine. So before
Hi everyone. Please give John a moment to hop back in. Yes, please just hold on. I can see all your comments. We're going to be addressing everything. Hi, everybody. Yes, please just give us a moment. John is coming back in any second. Yeah, all your comments in the chats.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah, he's back. He's back. Thank you, John. Please continue.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry for the break in net. Let me share my screen. I hope you all can see my screen right now, right?
It's loading up, but we can hear you.
The calendars.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Hi, John. We can hear you. You're just breaking up a little.
Hello. Okay,
just
okay,
breaking
okay.
up here and there.
Okay, so
yeah, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, before we perform the DOS attack from the Parrot operating system to the Kali Linux virtual machine, which is the victim's machine, we are going to note down the IP address of the victim machine, because this is how we locate the particular, like our target machine on the network. So, okay, so I am going to come over here and reset my network. Let me put it as host only. Okay, so I'm going to restart the network manager. Okay, so let me look for my IP address. Okay, so my IP address is now 192.168.11.105. So 192.168.11.105. I'll come back to the attacker's machine, which is the Parrot operating system. So I'm going to try to access the port 80 on my Kali Linux to see if I'll be able to connect to it from the attacker's machine, so that I can carry on the DOS attack. So I'm going to type in the IP address of my Kali Linux, which is the victim machine. Should that be it? 105. Let me check. I'm coming. Okay, 192.168.11.105. Coming. So I'm going to sorry, let me make my Parrot operating system be on the same network with that of make it host only instead of bridge. So host only here. Okay. So I'm going to come over to the terminal. I'm going to restart the network manager. restart, network manager, put in my password. Okay, so I'm going to check my IP address. Okay, 192.168.11.109. So let's run it again. Let's try it again. 192.168.11.105. Okay, you can see I am able to access my Kali Linux from my Parrot operating system. So let's now carry out the attack. So before we carry out the attack, I'm going to start up my Wireshark on my. So I'm going to clear the screen right now and start up my Wireshark so that we can be able to see the traffic coming into my Kali Linux. So I'm going to come over here and Wireshark. Do I have it here? Okay, so I'm going to start it up. Okay, so Wireshark is just like a software that you use to for capturing and analysis first interface here. So so I'm going to come to my Parrot operating system here, network scanning and crafting of packets and also performing DOS attack. So I'm going to use HPing 3 with the, we're going to perform a SYN flood attack, like a SYN flood. What I mean, synchronized flag. Now TCP, which is a transport control protocol, it has flags like the urge flag, urgent flag, push flag, finish flag, SYN flag, and the acknowledgement flag. So now the SYN flag is used to initiate whenever a client and the server wants to communicate. The client initiates a connection to the server using the SYN flag, and the server responds with a SYN ACK flag. So we're going to perform a SYN flood attack on port 80 on the IP address of my Kali, which is 192.168.11.105. I think I got that right. Okay, then with the flood parameter here, meaning I'm telling the HPing tool now to flood this particular machine here, which is my Kali Linux machine with SYN packets on port 80. So I'm going to hit this, and then we are going to, before that, let's go back to our Kali Linux and start capturing the packet. So I'm going to select the ETH0 here. So I'm going to go back to the attacker's machine, which is a Parrot operating system, and I'm going to hit enter. So let's check my Kali. You can see that the Parrot operating system has started flooding my Linux with random packets, like the SYN packet. You can see them here. The SYN packets from the Parrot operating system is now flooding my how do I call it, my Kali Linux. Now this will exhaust the network bandwidth of my Kali Linux VM. Now I believe you all know the sole purpose. Come, let me just stop it. I believe you all know the sole purpose of a DOS attack. Now, the sole purpose of a DOS attack is just to render a server or a particular service useless to authorized users. So the purpose of a DOS attack is not to steal or to make away with data or sensitive information. It's just to render the server or service useless to authorized users. So I have all the packets here. And if we come over to these statistics here and go to conversations between the Kali Linux and the Parrot operating system, we come to this IPv4 here. You see the how do they call it? The IP address of my how do they call it, of my Parrot OS, which is the attacker's machine, which is 192.168.11.109. Now this particular IP address is a class C this network address. Now, because it has a 192.168.11 and this is a private network. So my Parrot operating system is network 109. Host 109, while my Kali Linux VM is what host 105. So let's confirm that. Okay, I'm going to stop the attack and use this command here to check the IP address. You can see the IP address of my of the attacker's machine here, 109. So this is to tell you that the machine initiating the attack is this parallel operating system. As you can see it here. Then when we go to the packet sent between the two machines, you can see all the packets sent here. Now, A here stands for the attacker's machine, while the B stands for the victim machine. You can see that the packets from the attacker's machine to the how do they call it, to the victim machine, you can see all the packets here. Then the bytes from A to B here, 60 bytes. Now packets B to A, the ones sent from my Kali Linux to how do they call it, to the victim machine, are all here also. So so because of time, this is how to how do they call it, to identify a DOS attack. Now a DOS attack also, one way to identify a DOS attack is to how do they call it, is that when you are monitoring the network traffic coming to your organization using Wireshark, you see that there are random packets coming in real time, very in seconds or minutes, or delay between the number of packets coming into your network. So that is also a sign of a DOS attack. They come in randomly, very fast. You can see when we initiated the DOS attack, the packet being captured by our Wireshark here was like the packet were coming in real time, very fast. So that is one of the ways to identify, how do they call it, a DOS attack. So you can also use, let me clear the screen. So you can also initiate snort. Okay. So that is just it. So let's move on to the next phase. Okay, so let's move on to the next phase here. Okay, the next phase here, which is the topic 3 years, stand for navigating certifications for career advancement. Now, to navigate cybersecurity certifications for career advancement, you need to add into the field. You need to start off with CompTIA Security Plus. CompTIA Security Plus. Now, CompTIA Security Plus is a certification that shows, like, it shows to work with, who's the person that you have knowledge and skills to work in the field of cybersecurity. Now, this CompTIA Security Plus covers topics professionals to demonstrate their expertise in keeping digital information safe from various online risks and attacks. So CompTIA Security Plus will enable you to it will build you with cybersecurity concept that is entry level, understand? So as a beginner or someone new into the field of cybersecurity, one of the entry level certification by big organizations and small organizations also. So now this is where you have to start off your foundation in cybersecurity. So now when you are done with the foundations, then the next step is to specialize this CompTIA Security Plus. So now when you know that you are done with this foundation, and now the next step is to what? Is to specialize. And then you can now look into the field you want to specialize in, understand? So for that, my the next speaker, which will be the third speaker, which will be speaking with you, will throw more light and explain to you more about other certifications in the cybersecurity. So stay tuned for the next speaker, as he's going to be telling you much more of what I just explained here right now. So I hope to see you all starting your wonderful careers in cybersecurity. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you so much, John. Very wonderful, powerful presentation. Can you all hear me? Yes. So, John, thank you so much for this presentation. Yes. So everybody, I'm sure, like, from all the comments, we can see that there's been a lot, right? There's been a lot. John gave us a lot. And that goes to show you, how dynamic cybersecurity is. It can be very practical. It's a practical field. It is a very large domain. He just showed us DOS attacks as a practical, and that is just one part of cybersecurity. So, it gets you excited to wonder what else is out there in cybersecurity. He also mentioned some of the essential skills that you need to excel in cybersecurity. He talked about his own journey, how he navigated some of the problems that he encountered, and some of the things he did that actually puts him in the best light. Let's remember, John is an ethical hacker. So his realm of cybersecurity lies with hacking, penetration testing, and making sure that systems that are vulnerable get fixed, right? So thank you so much once again, John, for that very, very wonderful presentation. And we're going to have a very quick, short FAQ section, very, very quick and very short FAQ to answer some of your questions. I can see a lot of them in the chat. If you have any more, please let's answer before our next speaker comes in. So we just have about 5 minutes for this. So let's see, let me go through some of your questions. These are questions for me or for John regarding anything that we talked about, anything that's on your mind, anything that you're unclear, that you're not clear about. So let me look through the chats. Barring no questions, we move forward. I see people complaining of being lost. No. It's always, things are always confusing when you start them, and as you move forward, they get way easier. So, let's see. How do you stop? I assume you're referring to DOS attack. John, I think you should answer this question. How do you stop DOS attacks?
So how do you stop a DOS attack? Now, like I said, DOS attack stand for denial of service attack, and one of the reasons why attackers or cyber criminals perform a DOS attack is just to render the server or the service useless to authorized users. Understand? Just imagine you want to access a website or a web server. I was just lost around those. Okay. So just imagine you want to access a website of a company, and you know that the company is under a DOS attack and you couldn't access the company's website or their services. That's an example of a DOS attack. Okay, so now to stop a DOS attack, we use tools like firewall and also snot. Now, firewall, even though they help to protect a network against external attacks, there are things that firewall cannot do. Now, firewall cannot stop your how do they call it? Cannot stop a DOS attack. Like for example, let me say like an insider attack. Understand? So firewall cannot stop an insider attack. Let me say the person performing that DOS attack in an organization, like is an employee of that organization, working in that organization. Now firewall cannot stop it because the network traffic is already happening inside that organization, not external. So the firewall tries to block traffic coming from the external world, like from the outside world or the internet. So you can also use firewall, like when it is configured properly, you can use firewall to do that and make sure that the employee, there's no insider there, that like an employee that is working hand in hand with an outsider or a cyber criminal outside. So firewall rules can also be applied to stop that. Also, you need to for example, if you know that this particular IP address is always performing a DOS attack on your services, then you need to locate that particular service, because most of all these DOS attacks, they leverage on like particular ports or services on your server or your organization network that is open. Understand? So you need to shut down any services that you know that is open to any DOS attack. And also you need to you can also employ IDS and IPS, that is intrusion detection system and intrusion prevention systems. They also help to stop that attack, like SNOT. They help to detect and also prevent. And also you need to perform your part. Understand? You need to watch out all the activities of an organization, like the employees, everyone there. You need to be able to like assess them properly, to know their activities, like perform access control, you perform all those things so that the how do they call it, the wrong hand will not engage in some malicious activities. What do I mean by this? Like I explained earlier, the insider attack. Now, if a disgruntled employee or someone who is not satisfied by the offerings given to him by the organization, he or she can carry out an insider attack, and this can lead to the breakdown of the organization. So let me recap. The firewall rule should be set. IDS and IPS should be set, and also the snot configuration also should also be set, and the services that are not used should also be stopped or shut down.
All right, thank you so much for answering that, John. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. So the next question we have here is how did he get to Linux? Okay, like he explained, he has a virtual machine. And a virtual machine, it's a machine that is on top of your physical machine already. So he has a Linux machine on his Windows. John, please, can you share the PDF with us? Unfortunately, no, that I don't think that will be possible at this time. Please, I would like to ask, how can I get the IP address of a Windows OS to perform a DDoS attack? Yes, an IP address just identifies computers on a network. So you get your IP address on Windows by, navigating to your CMD and doing an IP config. This might be too technical for you. You can look it up on YouTube or read an article on how to get your IP address. It's very simple. Will you put us through to take the CompTIA security certification? The CompTIA Security Plus certification is just one of many, and it is the most important cybersecurity beginner certification that you can have. Please do not randomly unmute. If you have a question, you can type that in the chat. We'll answer every single question in the chat. I was just lost. Okay, will you put us through to take the CompTIA security certification? I guess the best person to answer this question will be our next speaker, and he's coming on soon as we're done with this FAQ. I was just lost around those Linux, and I don't know what it works for. It's okay to be lost. It's something that you can clarify with further questions. Is it advisable for a graduate who is fresh from university to start off with cybersecurity, or how long should one wait before starting or learning cybersecurity? This is a very important, wonderful question. You can start learning cybersecurity anytime, right? Cybersecurity is something that you can start off as a hobby and turn into a full-time career. Like I personally did. I started cybersecurity off as a hobby, and now it's a career for me. Yes, as a graduate, even as an undergraduate, somebody that has not started in the university, or you've started in the university, and you're looking for something that you can learn and actually turn into a very lucrative and fulfilling career for yourself, cybersecurity is the way to go. Does entry-level certification have to be Security Plus? Is certified in cybersecurity by ISC Square a great option, especially someone with 5 years system admin experience? Well, let us remember that certifications generally are proof of concepts in cybersecurity. So with 5 years of system admin experience, there's a lot you can do. And like I said before, the next speaker is going to answer all your questions about certifications, both entry level and advanced certifications, depending on how far you've come. Regarding learning a programming language, would Python for data science also work if transitioning to cybersecurity? Yes, Python is a very important and integral programming language for cybersecurity. But we should remember that for to be a cybersecurity professional, you do not necessarily need to know how to program with programming languages. You just need to understand them and how they work. So to answer your question, yes, it would help you immensely. I'm a third-year student in Bachelor of Business Information IT. What would you advise as a start in order to dive into cybersecurity? Well, as far as cybersecurity is concerned, you always like to start off by getting your foundations right, making sure that you know the basics of cybersecurity, you know everything that you need to know as a beginner in cybersecurity, and then you go on to specialize, and that's how you build your career, right? So yeah, you're actually starting at a very prime time, third year student. That is a perfect time to start anywhere in cybersecurity. But always remember your foundations is the most important thing. Our next speaker will highlight more on that as well. How do we install Linux? What is Linux used for, and how does it work? Linux is an operating system just like your Windows. A good example to explain this is how you have some people use Android phones and some people use iPhones. So if Linux is just like okay, you're using a different operating system than Windows, and there are people that also use Mac OS. You know, Mac OS is for MacBooks. So these are the three most common operating systems that we have now. Actually, fun fact: Mac OS is built on top of Linux. Windows is not built on Linux. Windows is completely separate. Linux is used as an operating system, just like your Windows. You can buy a laptop that has Linux on it only, and then you just be using it as your normal system, the way you use a laptop. So that's what it's used for, and how it works. You know, it's intuitive based on your usage. Do you have physical class for the course? Our next speaker is going to answer this question. In the bootcamp, we're going to learn a deep knowledge of Python. Our next speaker is also going to answer this question. Can someone learn this without emphasis on certificates? Point of correction, we're not talking about certificates, right? In cybersecurity, they're called certifications, not certificates. Just to clarify, there's a difference, right? So actually, I would love to hear what you guys think, the difference between certificates and certifications. But keep in mind that they are not the same. And yes, you can learn anything without a certification, but where is your proof that you have done that? Can you go to the university without graduating? Can you go to, school with having a certification at the end of it? How do you prove that you know what you say you know? Do you have physical classes? How long will it span? And can we know the cost implications? All this are going to be answered by our next speaker. And finally, we have how to install Linux on a Windows PC. Yes, like I said, you can have it as a virtual machine, and they are very, very good small steps that you can get on Linux on YouTube or on net, direct steps to give you exactly how to install Linux on your Windows PC. It's a very long process, but it's very intuitive, and I'm sure anybody can do it if they want to. So yeah, I think we have answered all the questions. Barring any further questions, I guess we can move on. All right. So this next segment and this next speaker, it's a very special part of this webinar. The speaker that is coming to speak to us is a very important and powerful force in cybersecurity as we know it. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a distinguished professional and certified information security consultant. This is the person that is behind this webinar that we have today. He is the CEO of Forward Edge Consulting Ltd. He leads the charge in providing security solutions to organizations in both the public and private sector. With a prowess for business development, he has aligned cybersecurity measures with strategic organizational goals. An experienced educator, he has taught cybersecurity at both national and international levels, shaping the next generation of experts. Renowned as a dynamic public speaker, his engaging talks inspire audiences on the crucial role of cybersecurity in our interconnected world. With a unique blend of technical expertise and business acumen, he stands as a driving force in advancing cybersecurity awareness and excellence. Please let's welcome Mr. Moyosori Kukoyi, CEO of Forward Edge Consulting Ltd, certified information security consultant. Thank you very much, sir, for being here with us today. We are very, very excited to see what you have for us. This is going to be a very wonderful one, and you have the floor. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, isn't it? I want to confirm that you can all hear me. If you can hear me, please just indicate that you can.
Yes, we
Yes, we
can.
can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me. Thank you. So it's been an interesting session, I believe. You know, from the start, from Easiness class session to John's session, I was seeing the comments, they were quite hilarious. Someone was asking even what is a private jet and things like that. Don't worry, all the things you John just showed you are just a tip of the iceberg, but the reason why they are still confusing to you is because you are quite new in the field. You understand? You really don't know the things you ought to know, which are your foundations yet, but eventually you will know it, you will know them if you are committed to knowing them. So without saying without saying too much, let me start with sharing my screen so I can show you all my presentation. So let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Please,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you. So, my own presentation is themed Charting Your Career Insights and Paths and the Paths Forward. And the first topic we'll be discussing is how to navigate diverse career paths and specializations in cybersecurity. So, to start, you see, the field of cybersecurity is can be daunting because it's very broad and diverse. And you know, the average person will can feel intimidated because of how broad and diverse it is. But the truth is, the diversity in the field gives everyone interested in that field an opportunity to find their interest and their strengths in cybersecurity. One thing I personally feel everyone should know when they want to get into this field is that cybersecurity roles can be categorized in groups. And these groups, please note this down, are offensive, defensive, and GRC roles. Offensive, otherwise known as the red team, defensive, blue team, GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. So I would explain that, I'll break that down to you. Sorry, hold on a second. Yeah, offensive, defensive, and GRC. Can you still see my screen? My system is hanging, but please hold on.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah, I'm having a little issue, but please just give me a little. Okay, wait. Let me do that again. Let me start sharing the screen again. I don't know, for some reason it was hanging. Okay. Okay, can you see it now? Can you all see it again?
Yes, we can see your screen, sir.
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
fine, thank you. So, these are the ways cybersecurity roles can be categorized. Now, speaking of offensive security, it's just like in the security industry too. Security can be offensive in that it could be like you are the attacker, while it can be defensive in that you could be the one who is protecting against being attacked. And also, then the other one we have there is the GRC. But let's start with offensive cybersecurity. In information security or cybersecurity, the offensive guys are those ones known as the red team. They simulate attacks on the organization systems and networks to identify vulnerabilities and weaknesses. And their goal is to think like the attacker and help the organization improve the security posture by discovering and addressing potential risks. So they are not attackers. They are within an organization, but they think like attackers, they behave like attackers just to make sure they can, you know, identify any sort of loopholes or vulnerabilities to be able to correct or teach the organization how to protect their systems or where they are lacking behind. So that's just a basic way of explaining that. Now, on the defensive side, and okay, the offensive side can also be referred to as the red team. That's the side that, simulates attacks or carry out some approved attacks to know vulnerabilities that exist. Now, on the other side, we have the defensive. These ones are the ones known as the blue team, and they operate on the defensive side. They are responsible for maintaining and improving the organization's security defenses. And this includes implementing security measures, monitoring for threats, responding to incidents, and generally ensuring the protection of information, system, and data. So, you see, these guys are the ones that, so sometimes organizations also do some sort of exercises where they bring different they build different teams within the organization, and majorly they consist of the red blue team. The red team consists of people who are trying to break into the organization systems and network, exploit vulnerabilities, while the blue team are the ones that are defending against them. They are spotting the attacks one way or the other. So that's just like what the defensive side is, which is the blue team. They're the ones that prevent attacks in real world scenarios or simulated scenarios. So now we have the third category, which is the GRC. GRC in information security or cybersecurity integrates governance, risk management, and compliance to create a cohesive and strategic approach to securing an organization's information assets. It provides a framework for effective decision-making, risk mitigation, and ensuring adherence to legal and regulatory requirements. So when we say GRC, we mean governance. So the governance aspect is a framework for decision-making within an organization. What are the decisions we are going to make to protect the organization's information systems? Now, when we say risk or risk management, we are talking about the process of identifying risk within an organization and seeing how to fight or mitigate against, and plans put in place to mitigate against this risk that exists. And the compliance aspect is knowing that there are regulations and laws that need to be abided by within any organization and seeing how to go about this. So those are the concepts of components of GRC. Now, you see, these three different categories, how they are grouped, they have different functions, as we already explained. But the least technical among them is the GRC aspect. It's quite more of documentation, planning, and things like that. We'll delve deeper into that later. So now, speaking about these categories, if you want to be on the offensive side of cybersecurity, you could be an ethical hacker, you could be a penetration tester, a social engineer, an offensive security consultant. So who is an ethical hacker? And I know some of us who already have ideas of what cybersecurity is will believe that ethical hackers are the same thing as pen testers. But today we'll try to understand the difference between them. Now, ethical hackers, also known as white hat hackers, they are known as white hat hackers because of the word ethical. Now, they are hackers that do it for malicious purposes, and they are not called ethical hackers. They are just called black hat hackers or malicious hackers. So for the ethical hackers, who are otherwise known as white hat hackers, they have a broader scope of activities, right? They focus on simulating real-world cyber attacks, employing various techniques to identify vulnerabilities in the system. We talked about that on the offensive side of security, the networks, applications, etc. And they use different methodologies, including penetration testing, to assess security. But for the penetration testers, they are quite similar. Ethical hackers can also be pen testers, right? But the difference between them is that the pen testers have a more specific role, which is it involves them actively exploiting identified vulnerabilities. Identified vulnerabilities. That's what they exploit. Sorry,
What's happening?
Sorry, I'm here. I'm sorry. There was a little bit of distraction. So, for the pen testers, they have a more specific role, and it involves them actively exploiting identified vulnerabilities to gain access to systems or data within an organization. So the ethical hackers are not there to identify exploit already identified vulnerabilities. They go through different approaches to identify vulnerabilities, not the ones that are already known. Now, the pen tester is a subset of the ethical hackers, and they are more focused on saying, okay, this organization has security controls in place already, right? But can we try to see if their security controls are okay or not? So that is their own focus. Now, pen testers could be ethical hackers, but not, all pen testers, ethical hackers can be pen testers, while not all, okay, let's just leave it at that, Sha. You get, so that's what ethical hackers are, and that's what pen testers are. Now, we have the social engineers. That could also be a career path. It's quite, I find that very interesting, even though I'm not on the red side of cybersecurity. Social engineers are people who focus on exploiting human vulnerabilities. You see, within an organization, you might.
The red is offensive, blue is defensive.
Okay, is someone asking that question? Who is speaking, please? Okay, fine. Now,
Hi,
for this,
please, let's speak in
please,
of not interrupting the
please,
speaker.
please.
If you have any questions, please type them in the chat. Thank you very much.
Exactly. If you have anything to say or questions, please just drop it into the chat. Okay. Now, social engineering is, or social engineers are people who focus on exploiting human vulnerabilities through tactics like phishing to test an organization's susceptibility to social engineering attacks. So let me just break it down in as simply as possible. You see, organizations have their systems and networks, and sometimes they might be very secure that attackers might not be able to gain access to them. However, their employees or people within the organization might be vulnerable, and they might be the reason why there is an opening for attackers to be able to gain access to their systems and networks. So, for example, an employee within an organization that is not well trained might come across somebody who manipulates his thoughts to the point that maybe an attacker brings a flash drive into the company premises and drops it on the floor with malware on it. And this employee who is very curious, you understand, or nosy or something, sees this flash drive on the floor and picks it up and takes it into the organization's and connects it to some system and then compromises the organization system or entire networks. Those are the things that social engineers do. They might send you emails fooling you. We see that a lot. I saw a video that someone sent to me yesterday where someone was trying to hack into someone's WhatsApp account. He told him that I can't remember the exact words he used, but this is something anybody could fall victim to, which was like, okay, you have an account on so place, and we need to do something. Give us the code that was sent just right now. And then, if it's not that this man already knows this kind of tactics, he could have sent the code, but that code was an OTP because he was trying to hack into his account. So these are people, con men, who try to fool regular people who are inexperienced with cyber attacks or these forms of attacks into, divulging sensitive information or falling victim to their attacks. These are what social engineers are. Now, social engineering as a career path does not mean it has to be coming from a negative standpoint. It could come from the standpoint of someone who is actually still part of the whole process of trying to see the vulnerability within an organization. And vulnerabilities, like we already know, can also come from individuals, not just the organization systems. So one can be a very seasoned and good social engineer and still use it for good purposes. Now, we also have the threats. And okay, don't worry, I'll answer that after, when we are done, during the FAQ question. Someone was asking what's the difference between cyber attacks and threats. Now, for offensives, the last one on the list is offensive. Okay, sorry, offensive security consultants. So the offensive security consultants are experts who they are the ones that provide expertise in identifying and exploiting security vulnerabilities, offering recommendations for improvement. So these are people that probably are themselves ethical hackers, or they have a team of ethical hackers, and their own job is to get into organization and identify and exploit vulnerabilities within these organizations. But not just do that, but also find a way to, advise and recommend to the organization how they can fix this. These are offensive security consultants. Now, the list is what's the right word? I can say the list is large. There are so many other roles you could find in offensive cybersecurity. However, these are just a few that we are mentioning, few of the important ones. Now, on the other side, we have the defensive security. Now, we have roles like security analysts. These ones monitor and analyze security alerts, incidents, and logs to identify and respond to potential threats. We also have incident responders. They investigate and respond to security incidents, coordinating efforts to contain and remediate the impact. We also have the security engineers. These ones design, implement, manage security infrastructure and technologies to protect against cyber threats. And then finally, we also have security administrators. They manage access controls, security policies and configurations to ensure a secure computing environment. These are different roles within the defensive side of cybersecurity. Now we have the governance, risk, and compliance roles. The first one on my list here are the Chief Information Security Officer. These ones are on the leadership side of cybersecurity. They provide leadership and oversight of the organization's information security strategy and operations. So every ideal organization has an information security strategy. They have the way they operate, the things they do to protect their, information systems, their system generally, their whole organization from cyber attacks or any form of attacks. Now, who is that person who is ideally supposed to be in charge? It has to be someone who has some level of experience and leadership qualities to be able to coordinate the entire team that is in charge of making sure that, everything is in place. The second on this is security compliance analyst. This one ensures that the organization complies with relevant laws, regulations, and industry standards. Now, every organization that exists out there actually are binded by laws, one way or the other. Within Nigeria, we have, I don't think we have, so currently we don't really have very, very serious push for regulations. But one that I know of that is quite recent is, what's it called again? The ND National, what's the name of this Data Protection Act? National Data Protection Act, if I'm correct, the one that was enacted by our current president, which is about data privacy. Now, this is one of the cyber security regulations that we have out there in Nigeria, for example. In Europe, we have the GDPR. We have NDPR. NDPR was Buhari's era. NDP, I think the current one is NDPA. The last letter is not R, the current one. The last one was repealed by the new administration. Now, so let me continue. So these guys are the ones that make sure that organizations comply with whether privacy laws or other laws or compliance requirements that organizations have to follow, because there are repercussions of not complying with regulations and laws, because it could lead to heavy fines and going out of business because you're not complying. So within some organizations actually require having those kind of people working within them. So you can actually pick up a career as a security compliance analyst. And the next on the list is a risk manager. This one identifies, assesses, and manages risk to organizations' information systems and data. We also have the security policy analyst. They develop and enforce security policies and procedures to guide the organization's security efforts. These ones are the ones that, are involved in the whole process of creating the policies and procedures in order for to guide all the efforts of the organization in security processes. We also have the internal auditors. They examine and evaluate the effectiveness of the organization's security controls internally and it includes those related to information security. It only involves those related to information security. So what this means is, sometimes we might have internal auditors that are auditing the accounting systems of the organization. We have usually that's what the role of auditors are generally. But then we have internal auditors or auditors generally that their focus is actually on the information systems of an organization, and their purpose there is just to make sure that all the internal information security controls, all the controls they put in place to make sure that their systems are secure, their old security process is very tight, is in place. Their duty is to come and check, analyze, look through them, and make sure that the organization is doing the right thing. That is a job on its own. Now, finally, we also have data protection officers. This one makes sure that people comply with data protection laws and regulations, particularly regarding the handling of personal and sensitive data. It's just very similar to security compliance analyst roles. You understand? These ones are the people that you make sure that people follow data privacy laws. As a matter of fact, there are some countries that actually mandate their organizations to have data privacy officers on their team. So it's either you hire them as your security consultants or as consultants, or they work within your organization, depending on your size of your organization. So in summary, there are just so many roles in cybersecurity as a whole. Now, there are those who would want to be on the offensive side. There are those who might want to be on the defensive or on the GRC side for those who are not really technical people. Cybersecurity generally is a very rewarding and good field, and either way on the spectrum you are, it's very good. We also have information security consultants. I didn't mention that on the list, but these are people that their own duty is to just like I am an information security consultant, right? Their own scope of work is to make sure that organizations are in the right position, have the right security position, advise them on the different steps they are supposed to take, whether in form of GRC or anything else, or whether they need to carry out pen tests or anything they need to do, anything they need to put in place to make sure their security posture is okay. This is the duty of information security consultants. So there are just so many roles. How are you going to be teaching us everything in all the role? I don't know. Well, I'll answer your questions when I'm done. So let me share something about myself a little, my own personal journey, right? So maybe you might get something from that. You see, when I decided to get into cybersecurity, I was initially confused and I was overwhelmed with how broad the field was. And I initially started by taking different courses online in domains I was interested in. I took different courses, but yet I still didn't seem to find direction. As either I found certain things too complex for me because of the use of certain technical terms, or just because I just realized along the line that it wasn't exactly, those things didn't exactly interest me. I remember some years ago I took courses on ethical hacking, and sometimes I found it interesting. At other times I found like, hey, this is quite, in some things, even when I hit some challenges or all of that, I'm trying to figure out how to solve my problems, I'm seeing very technical terms that I've never had before, because I didn't have an IT background from the onset. You understand? That's why I personally believe and have the vision that everybody can actually transition into cybersecurity or tech generally, as long as you are determined. You understand? So I looked at it. At some point, I felt, challenged, and I felt like, wait, is this really for me? I don't know if I'm really interested. I remember then I was confused, like, okay, maybe cybersecurity is really not for me. Whereas I was just focused on learning ethical hacking. You understand? Now, and a few other concepts. But I remember someone told me that a foundational cybersecurity program will help me get everything I need, you understand, to have that good foundation. I then decided to learn cybersecurity on a particular program, and I eventually understood so many things I didn't before, and it gave me the direction I needed. I got to understand cybersecurity from all angles, and I got to finally understand which area particularly interests me as a person, because I built my foundation very solid. So that's why I decided that I wanted to be a cybersecurity consultant. At that point, I felt like, okay, this is who I wanted to be, and I chose my own path. So that decision closely aligned with my circumstances. That was me. That was what I had time for. I'm a business person. I have businesses and everything. Am I going to be committed to, being an ethical hacker? Am I going to be committed to being on the blue side, maybe a SOC analyst or something? I'm not sure if I really want to do that. So I asked myself, what's my circumstance? What can I do? How can I get into this industry? And I just realized that, okay, fine, this is just the way to go for myself. So another thing was desire to be involved directly or indirectly with the different areas of cybersecurity. That was another thing that made me choose to be a security consultant. And also my desire to teach and consult for organizations. So I found my path. The essence of what I'm saying here is that everyone needs to find their path. It's a very broad field. Why does my own journey? Everyone's journey is different. For example, if you ask someone like John who spoke, you understand, John is, very passionate about ethical hacking. John is one of where we are the people who teach the current cohort of the bootcamp that is coming to an end gradually. I remember one day I was asking John that he should kind of like, does he mind helping me take a class in JLC? He was just like, no, he does. I mean, I was laughing. He can take it because he has a solid foundation, but it's not his interest. You understand? So these things that look like jargon to some people that he's doing right now is something that is quite interesting to him, and a lot of you will find interesting along the line also. So the same thing is with Ezine. Ezine is on the red side. You understand? She's also on the red side, more on the red side. But I know she plays both ways. So she's both red and blue at the same time. You get. So in essence, it's very important to gain foundational knowledge in cybersecurity. That's what I'm trying to say. Because it helps you find your strength. Beyond just finding your strength, there are a few other reasons it's important to have foundational training. And I will list all these reasons to you now, right? I'll explain these reasons to you. Okay, sorry. So why foundational knowledge is important in cybersecurity? Why is it important? You see, foundational classes, what they do is they cover fundamental concepts, the principles and technologies in information security. Sorry, I keep using the word information security. They are used interchangeably. When you hear information security, it's still cybersecurity. However, this is a much more advanced, there is a much more advanced explanation. Cybersecurity is sort of a subset of information security, which is the umbrella, you understand? Everything we do is still information security, but the words are used interchangeably. So when you hear me say information security, I'm still talking cybersecurity, okay? So now, you see these foundational classes, they cover fundamental concepts, principles, and technologies in information security. This understanding is crucial for any specialized role as it provides a solid base upon which to build more advanced knowledge. So no matter where you're going in cybersecurity, if you don't have your foundations well built, there's a problem, because even if you're in GRC that is not technical, you'll come across technical terms, you'll come across some things that you've never had before. If you're just focused on learning about GRC, you will never really understand them in a way that you should be able to understand, right? Because I remember taking a GRC class one day recently with the current cohort, and we're talking about some things we've already talked about in threats, attacks, and vulnerabilities. And I didn't have to spend too much time breaking it down, because I could never have even spent that much time breaking it down to them. You understand? But I didn't need to do that because we built them, we already gave them that foundation, and the GRC was towards the end of their journey in the classes. Now, another thing is communication skills. The next one is communication skills. You see, cybersecurity professionals often need to communicate complex technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders. They need to do this to non-technical stakeholders. And these foundational classes help individuals develop effective communication skills, which are crucial for expressing security concerns, justifying resource needs, and collaborating with colleagues across various departments. So, if you don't know the terms, how do you speak? There are lots of terms you will need to know eventually in cybersecurity, just so many of them. And the only way you can know all the terms you need to use is to have that foundation, the broad knowledge. So another one is adaptability. The field of information security is very dynamic, and there are new threats emerging regularly. And these foundational classes provide a broad understanding of the field, enabling professionals to adapt to evolving challenges and technologies. There will always be new challenges every time coming up. Now, how would you be able to relate with the new challenges if you don't have new things to explore, if you don't have that foundational knowledge or skill, or you don't have a broad knowledge on the field generally? It's really going to be confusing for you. So finally, we also talk about career flexibility. You see, when you have foundational knowledge, it allows any individual who has this foundational knowledge, the opportunity to explore different areas within cybersecurity before deciding on a specific specialization. And the exploration can be valuable in helping them identify their interests and strengths, leading to a more informed decision about their career path. So, like, just like I explained to you, when I was building my own foundations, I was like, okay, where do I want to be? I started out, before I even started building my foundations, trying to learn ethical hacking and all that. I was frustrated at some point, you understand? But then when I started learning cybersecurity and I saw how broad the field it was very interesting to me. And I saw, okay, these are my areas of strength. These are my areas of weaknesses. I need to focus on my areas of strength. And then that's where I now said, okay, this is it. I found my path. So learning or gaining the foundations will make you know, okay, this is what I really want to do. Is it GLC I'll end up becoming? Is it would I be on the red side? Would I be on the blue side? It's now up to you because you've already built your foundations and you know what you want for yourself. Interestingly, you can even start out in an aspect of cybersecurity and you are targeting another one. And when you become the master of that place you are targeting, you can pivot into the new place you really want to be. Also, within organizations. So, for example, if I'm on, speaking about saying, someone like Ezine, I think I believe Ezine is quite flexible. You understand? Now, Ezine can be on the red side, and she can also be on the blue side from what I know about her. So now let's assume Ezine is working on the red side of an organization, a cybersecurity organization, and then, for example, maybe so they need her to move to the blue side. It's going to be easy for her to. They need her to maybe move to GLC. It's going to be easy for her to if she's flexible. So, and that flexibility comes from building your foundation site, having a broad overview of not going too deep into everything for a start, but making sure you know everything and then becoming a master of the aspect you want to master. So okay, let me continue. So in summary, foundational classes provide a strong base of knowledge, skills, and practice. Okay, let me answer that last question. And I think it's good to answer it because yes, I'm not a programmer. Do you get that? You understand? And I'm in cybersecurity. So trust me, you do not need to be a programmer to be in cybersecurity by any means. If you even choose to be in cybersecurity without being technical, you can still be in cybersecurity. Do you understand? So I think that answers that question. I'll deal with the other questions afterwards. So in summary, foundational classes provide a strong base of knowledge, the skills and perspectives that are essential for anyone entering into the field of information security. And this base not only facilitates the understanding of specialized areas, but also ensures a well-rounded and adaptable cybersecurity professional. So, to my next topic, let me move to my next topic. Unlocking industry insights and seizing growth opportunities, right? Under this topic, my first thing we'll talk about is industry trends. I believe you know what trends are like. For maybe those that might have been involved in someone said I have hope I can do this. Yeah, you can do this definitely. So, for those who understand what trading is like, whether it's forex, cryptocurrencies, or stocks and all of that, you understand that most times people work with trends in the market, right? So you see if the market is in a downward trend, your best bet is to make sure that you observe and stay away from trading upwards. Now, if you are going against the trends, you will likely get burned. Do you understand? So most times you're advised that, okay, watch how the trend in the market is, see if the trend is upwards, you understand, or see if the trend is downwards. Now, and then that will inform the decision you make. I'm using this analogy to explain to you that what generally in life, whether in cybersecurity or anything, we need to know that one of the good ways to make success is to be able to follow trends as much as possible. Now, in cybersecurity, there are definitely trends. You can as well Google that what are the trends in cybersecurity in 2024, and you will find your answers. We have IoT security, cloud security, we have generative AI, and all of that are parts of the trends in cybersecurity currently. Now, you might ask yourself, like, I mean, because these are the things where obviously where the opportunities, bigger opportunities are for you, whether in business or as an employee. You might tell yourself, okay, how can I continue to, make sure that I keep flowing with the trend, going with the trend and seeing how to grow. So the landscape is constantly evolving, and staying informed about these trends positions you as a knowledgeable professional, and it will also greatly improve your longevity and stability in the industry. Now, the next thing we'll talk about is professional certifications. John talked about professional certifications, right, earlier. I think, he mentioned to you guys that the Security Plus is the best foundational cybersecurity certification, which is very true. The most respected entry-level cybersecurity certification is Security Plus. However, just as we know, you start with your foundations, entry level, you understand the things you need to know. Sometimes people will now feel like, okay, I really want to specialize in this aspect. This is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. Now, you might now decide that, okay, this is where, these are the certifications I should have. You understand? Can I have certifications? You can pick up certifications in the cloud environment that you are comfortable with working with. You can pick up certifications in identity and access management. You can pick up certifications in, different domains in cybersecurity, different networking certifications. So these certifications play a vital role in gaining industry recognized skills. And you need to start with the foundations, just as I explained, and you proceed to considering certifications aligned with your interests and career goals. They do not only validate your expertise, but also open doors to new opportunities within the cybersecurity ecosystem. So just like Izine said earlier, I think she said something like, someone was like, can you do without certification? And I think the statement she made was like, yeah, you can learn certain things, but how do you prove that you really know them? Which is true. You understand? So certifications are actually a proof. We'll still further talk about that as we proceed. You get continuous learning. Continuous learning. Please, I'm looking through. Ransomware as a service. Interesting. I saw you Google. I know you Googled that actually. I saw you Googled it because I think I saw it. I saw the same thing some days ago. Yeah, but that's for cyber criminals. So ransomware as a service. That means like, I guess that what that means is that there are attackers that actually, render this sell this ransomware tools to co-attackers like them to attack organizations or individual systems. So I guess that's what it is, but that's horrible. Trust me, if that is what it is, you understand, and you don't want to play on that side. Okay, interesting. So let me proceed. So continuous learning. Continuous education is a cornerstone of success in cybersecurity. And you need to leverage resources like conferences, webinars, like this one we are doing right now, online courses to stay updated. The more you invest in your knowledge, the more you empower yourself to navigate the ever-evolving challenges in the field. That's that for topic 2. Now we are going into topic 3, which is breaking into cybersecurity, navigating the challenges and your path forward. So now that we already understood, we've talked about so many things, through the first 2 hours of this class, right? Hold on a second. Sorry, I had a little distraction there. So, navigating the challenges and your path forward. Everybody knows that nothing easy comes good. Now, if you're going to be in cybersecurity, you understand, you need to know that you need to prepare yourself. If you can't take the heat of learning, you better stay off the kitchen. That's the truth. You just have to be ready to learn. You need to grind hard. You need to, take some steps. There are steps that you can't skip. There are just things you have to do to, position yourself in that industry. So, okay, sorry. I'm coming. So you need to ask yourself first. You understand? The first step along the line when you want to get into cybersecurity is you need to ask yourself, what really are your goals, right? What are your cybersecurity goals? What do you want to do in cybersecurity? Now, that's the first question you need to ask yourself. Some people want to work in cybersecurity and some people want to do business. For those who want to do business, I'll say that that's even kind of like easy because inside, not easy, like, no, of course, it's not easy to do business. Don't get me wrong. You understand what I mean? Is like the pathway is easier. Like your best bet is to just position yourself as a cybersecurity leader, build your network and build your team. But you should make sure that you have the foundational skills first so that you can steer your ship in the right direction. So, for example, now, I see businesses. I always say something. I'm this person who has different businesses I am involved in. You understand? And I must say that everything. If you see me own a particular business, you can be rest assured that I am the person who steers that business. I'm either certified in that thing I'm doing, or I've done this thing for some years, or I just have that. I'm the one that guides how these things work. You understand? Anything I do. So no matter how big my organization becomes tomorrow, I started the journey, you understand, genuinely. I can't start a barbing salon, for example, and I don't know how to barb. That's just me. Do you understand? Now, if you want to start a business in cybersecurity and you don't really understand what cybersecurity is, then why are you doing it? Of course, people are going to play with you. If you want to start a marketing agency and you are not a marketer yourself, somebody can come and be doing how do I explain it? Somebody might be doing some rubbish for you, you understand, in the name of marketing, and you are not able to spot that, okay, what this person is not doing is right. So I would say that it's important if you want to start a business in cybersecurity to make sure your foundations are very tight. Now, but speaking of, that's for business. How about jobs, which I know is the major attraction for most people, you understand, in cybersecurity. Now, to work in cybersecurity, you need to gain foundational, diverse knowledge, build your practical skills and portfolio, and be ready to network. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are things you need to do, right? First, these are the steps. Let me just oh, sorry. Oh, no. I'm having a little issue. Please, I'm coming back. Let me share my screen again. I had a small problem. Can you now see my screen again?
Yes,
I
I
see.
will come.
Okay, you can see my screen. Fine. Thank you. So, like I was saying, you see, the first thing you need to do is to make sure, to work in cybersecurity. I've not gotten to that point yet. That's why I went back. You need to gain foundational diverse knowledge, build your practical skills and your portfolio, be ready to network, be ready to volunteer and intern, and just so many things. We'll touch on them very soon. You understand? And you need to be flexible, but you need to start somewhere, especially where you have strengths. You get so now. But before we proceed, let me first say something. Before we now go deeper into these steps, these things you need to do, we need to ask ourselves, we need to understand how lucrative is a cybersecurity career, right? How lucrative is a cybersecurity career? I think everybody knows how lucrative it is, right? I believe everybody knows. It's a very, very nice one. Let me quickly share something to you. Let me stop this particular screen sharing and share another part of my screen to you. Hold on. Um, this class is 3 hours. It's ending by 9 p.m. It might end before then, but don't worry, we'll soon finish, okay? So I'm looking for where I'm coming, please. Okay. I'm coming. Now, okay, so let me share my screen. Now, let me show you this part. So can you see my screen? What's the average salary of a cybersecurity spec? Can you see my screen now? Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's not even the part I want to show. I wanted to show you something. I wanted to show you something. Let's talk about opportunities for cybersecurity all over the world. For those of us who are in Nigeria, you get, and all over Africa, we know that people want to relocate. Let's tell ourselves the truth. And one of the reasons why many people are actually, taking up tech and all of that is because they've heard that tech jobs are actually, tech professionals are actually in demand all over the world, which is very, very true. You understand? Very, very true. So, you see, in Canada, for example, if you enter the express entry pool, you understand, there's a way they go through the process of nominating or inviting people for permanent residence, and they pick people from different areas of specialization. Now, this place I'm showing you, I don't know if I'm showing you. Oh, I don't think. Are you seeing? What can you see on my screen right now? Am I on the Canada tab?
You
Please,
can
let's be
see the
sure.
express entry
Okay, fine. Thank you.
on TRS.
Okay, so you can see, right? Now, you can see how many people were nominated for French language proficiency. So if you speak French, that's an advantage for you. Now, let's go down to other aspects. In December 8, 2023, STEM occupations we had 5,900 people that were, invited to apply for the PR or something. I don't know what's the right word anyway, because I'm not used to this. You understand? But now we have how many people? What was the minimum score? 481. Anyway, the reason why I'm showing you this is because I need you to know that if you are in STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. You understand? Technology, and if you go drill down more, we don't have time to go deep into this aspect. You realize that cybersecurity is one of those fields in Canada where, in different provinces in Canada, where tech professionals are really, really needed, you understand, in cybersecurity. So gaining cybersecurity skill is mind-blowing, and it's really empowering for you at this point in time. And the interesting thing is, like, you also can actually become a cybersecurity professional in a short space of time. And in 6 months, if you have 6 months work experience, you understand, you're eligible for 6 months of full-time work experience in one of these occupations. You understand, you can actually start, you are eligible to, put in for these programs. So let me stop sharing the screen. Maybe let me go back now. Let me go to the salaries, the salary prospects. Salaries of cybersecurity professionals. In the US, the average salary is 93,000. That's on the median scale, right? $170,000 per year. On the higher scale, 145,000, and on the lower scale, 45,000, depending on where you are in the US. Then we have places in Canada. Let's just leave that alone. But I'm just trying to prove to you how promising a career in cybersecurity can be. And so let me go back to the slide. Yeah. Now, okay. Somebody was repeating what I said. Okay, fine. So you need to ask yourself, what are your goals? I talked about that. And then, so what are the steps to position yourself in cybersecurity? Now that you know where you want to be or what you want to do, what are the steps you need to follow? First thing is you need to learn the foundations. We already talked about that, right? You need to learn the foundations. Take a foundational class. You understand? Build your foundation solid so that wherever you are going is not built on shaky grounds. Take an entry-level certification like the Security Plus, like we talked about. You understand? Gain practical cybersecurity skills. The truth is, employers will not. They know that there are people that have certifications but really don't know how to do the job. There are people that understand the concept of cybersecurity, but they really don't know how to implement. You understand? So you need to gain these skills. If you are talking about what's the name? Firewall rules, if you're talking about intrusion detection, anything you're talking about inside identity and access management, are you really able to do it, or you just understand how it or know about it? Employers want to know that you know how to do it. What certification does for you is it kind of positions you, gives you an edge. You are filtered above those who don't have certifications. However, you need to know that someone who doesn't have certification but has more hands-on skills than you do, if both of you are put in the same place and you don't have a certification, they will rather pick that person. But they will pick someone who has both certification and, you understand, skills together. They will pick both of that kind of person ahead of someone who has either of both. So you need to have both certification and practical skills. Now, you need to also carry out cybersecurity projects. Yeah. Well, for those in Africa, it's cheaper, but we'll talk about that later. You understand? So cybersecurity projects, you need to implement cybersecurity projects. That's very important too, because those projects are obviously what is necessary for your to prove to employers that you really know what to do. So the practical skills we are talking about, you gain them, then you now implement them yourself. You understand? This is what we call your project. So have I designed an IAM system for an organization? Have I designed have I audited for I done an IT security audit for an organization? You know, all these projects are things that are quite important. And you can do voluntary work. When you are starting out, it's going to be very tough to get a job. That's the honest truth. Because people want to see that you have experience. And where do you get the experience from when you are not getting the jobs? You understand? When nobody's giving you the opportunity. One good way to start is voluntary work. So look around yourself. What organizations do your friends, your family, or is it your church, or some people you are connected to that you can actually help one way or the other freely to actually implement security for their information systems? You can work on that. In turn, also, if you have opportunities for internships, do it. You understand? They are paid internships, they are free internships. I feel like any of them is very okay as long as it's to gain the experience you get. Now, networking, very powerful in cybersecurity. It's good to be able to connect yourself with different people in the organization, in the industry, to know when there are opportunities out there, and for you to continue to stay relevant and updated on all of that. And being mentored is key, because it's easy for you to feel like, okay, I'm going online to go and watch one video and all of that, and I'm good to go. But you get lost. Not maybe some people are very strong at finding themselves anyway on their own, but why ride a bike to the airport when you can go on a very smooth Benz? Do you understand what I'm saying? Why not take a smooth, good path towards where you're going to? The next and final step is to build your portfolio. So now that you've already done all these things, you've taken all this gone from from the beginning to that. The next thing is build your portfolio. And when you build your portfolio of activities, the things you've done and all of that, then you go and start applying for the jobs. So, well, now. So the next question we need to ask ourselves is, how do you piece all of these things together? How can you achieve all of these things, which I feel you can achieve within a year? That's the truth. Now, if you tell yourself that, okay, I want to relocate, my goal is to relocate to Canada, I want to have this skill, I want to become a cybersecurity professional, I want to be able to relocate, for example, I'm just using that as an example, and I want to have experience, I'm already certified, I already have the knowledge, and I want to relocate. How do I do this? You understand? How do I have all the work experience? The best thing is to join a cybersecurity bootcamp, because it helps you tick all these boxes. You understand? Absolutely well. Okay, thank you. You understand? It helps you tick all the boxes you get. So that is why I am introducing you to the Forward Edge Cybersecurity Bootcamp, right? The Forward Edge Cybersecurity Bootcamp, that's a bootcamp that is going to give you all the foundational knowledge you need, everything you need to do in cybersecurity. And I'll break it down to you bit by bit now. So how does this bootcamp help you? We help you with your foundations. We're actually going to start teaching you from the foundations. We are going to teach you Linux foundations. Don't worry, Izine and John will come back to tell you their parts, what they are going to be teaching you in their own classes. But basically, you're going to learn something that is very important, which is the Linux, right? The Linux operating system, you understand, because you need to know how to work in the command line if you are going to be proficient in cybersecurity, in some aspect of cybersecurity. We are teaching you foundations of Linux. We are teaching you, we are going to help you install tools and everything. And then we are going to teach you other aspects and also, other cybersecurity concepts, programming and all of that. Don't worry, we'll break it down further a little as we proceed. And then we'll also prepare you for the CompTIA Security Plus certification, right? So this certification, like we already know, is, the best entry-level certification. And our curriculum, much of our curriculum is centered around it. The curriculum is so big and robust that we cover beyond the scope of the Security Plus. The first 2 months have nothing to do with the Security Plus curriculum, but the next 4 months, or I mean, roughly 3 to 4 months. I think the first 1 month rather, not Security Plus, or the first 6 weeks. I'm trying to remember the exact timing. Is all about programming and different other things. You're building your foundations for you to now start taking the Security Plus curriculum, and we are going to take you through the Security Plus curriculum, preparing you to take the certification exam if you are part of the program. Now, you also gain practical cybersecurity skills because these classes are hands-on. You're actually going to learn. You're going to implement 42 practical projects, right? 42 different practicals are going to be implemented throughout the program. More on that coming from John and Izine. Now, of course, the project, you understand? Then speaking about voluntary work, when you are done with the program, one thing we are showing you off is those that really know, because the truth is not everybody will be serious along the line if you are a part of this program, because based on our previous experiences, there are people who the problem is, it's either they don't have time or they are just not committed or something. But if you are serious, we can see the people who are serious, and you can rest assured that we can guide you on how to get of course you can do your voluntary work yourself, but we'll also help you, especially with internships. Those that are serious, you can rest assured that if you need internships, even we are not promising you paid internships, right? Of course, paid internship opportunities might come, but we are not promising that. But one thing is, if you need internships based on where your location and all that, we can actually get you internships. And if there are job opportunities out there too, you understand, coming up, because we also deal with different organizations, the best hands, the most serious people that are most dedicated, we are recommending them to our network of clients. Now, speaking about networking, you see, when you are part of our bootcamp, the truth is you already a part of a community, a beautiful community of people who are all, there's a way you feel when you are learning along with people who have the same challenge you have, who have the same, struggle, we are all on the same path towards. There's a way, I don't know what adage to use to describe this, but it just gives you that push when you have the same issues, and then you are, both all struggling to climb up the ladder. Just like the people in the first edition of this bootcamp, there's a unity between everyone, discussions, laughter in class, suggestions and everything. There's just this bond, and this is a bond that would continue for several years, I believe, down the line. We are all like a family already, you understand, and that can greatly impact your future in the industry. So the bootcamp gives you the opportunity to join a network of people who are like minds, like you, who want to achieve this thing in cybersecurity. And of course, we are mentoring you because we are guiding you down the step, all the things you need to do. Don't be rest assured that we are there to guide you to achieving these things and being able to, position yourself well in the industry. And we also teach you how to build your portfolio. Of course, you do your projects and everything, but how do you build your portfolio? How do you position yourself? You understand? Well, in a way that, of course, all these things you've done, all the projects, how do you align them? Where do you place them? How do you do this in a way that it will be attractive? And then we teach you how to search for jobs, whether it is business opportunities or job opportunities. You learn skills that are necessary for you to be able to search for these opportunities. So, I'm coming, please. So, and then, okay, I'm coming, hold on. So we'll teach you, how to use, you make sure your online presence is on point, your LinkedIn profile is okay, we'll show you um everything everything you need to know. Let me quickly show you something. Let me share another part of my screen to you, something interesting. And then I'll call in Ezine and John to actually mention to you what they are going to teach you so that you actually understand what you are getting from this program before we now proceed. But please, Ezine, John, very, very briefly, please, because we're already running out of time, as you can see. And I wish we could finish this before 3 hours. This is almost 2 hours, 30 minutes. But let me quickly share something to you on my screen. Hold on. Okay, let me share my screen again. Where is this? Okay. So, if you can see my screen right now, you see, okay. Yeah, okay. I don't know, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Please confirm.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. This is a particular job role for a cybersecurity professional, right? And if you see the skills that require cloud monitoring, I saw something around using Splunk, intrusion detection tools, different skills, different requirements for this job. You understand? This job opportunity. I'm looking. Problem soft skills, sandboxing, SIM, suspicious email investigation, vulnerability management, intrusion incident detection, let me show you another one. Investigate anomalous traffic patterns, identify document. So anyway, let me just stop this. I'm getting somewhere with this. I just wanted you guys to know something, right? You see, the essence of showing you all of this is to let you know what you are going to learn in the bootcamp if you are part of the program, right? And quickly, I would call on Ezine, quickly mention what you are going to be teaching them, most especially also the practical aspect of the classes, what they are going to get. But don't forget, in total, you are going to be implementing 42 practical projects during the program. But Ezine, please, can you carry on? Yeah. I'm just 3 minutes, please. And John too, please. When Ezine is done.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah, I hope you can hear me. So, like Mr. Mo has mentioned to you guys, I am actually going to be an instructor on the Forward Edge Cybersecurity Bootcamp. Yes, so teaching is one of my passions, and I'm excited to share that knowledge with everybody. So we're going to be actually starting off with programming for cybersecurity, where we talk about everything you need to know about programming that would help you in your cybersecurity journey. It is not in a bid to teach you how to program, but like I mentioned previously, to teach you what you need from programming in cybersecurity. We do a lot of practical projects. We'll talk about building Python scripts. We would create our own DDoS tool, create our own location tracker. We're creating our own keyloggers and simple cipher tools, right? And that is where we then move forward into more security-based topics that we have for you guys. We're going to be talking about various security controls, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, like we have mentioned. We'll still do more on encryption, talk about digital signature sorting, do a lot on blockchain, and explaining the importance of a lot of security controls that we have present. We would also go on to do a lot of work with security architecture, talking about like cloud, where you have like infrastructure considerations, architecture and infrastructure concepts, multi-cloud systems, capacity planning, testing continue. And breakdown of some of the things you would also be talking about during the bootcamp.
Okay. So John, please just make it very brief because we don't have much time again, okay? just like roughly 2 minutes, because you know we have a Q&A session. So please carry on, John. Thank you, but very, very quickly.
Okay, sir, for that opportunity. So I'll be sharing with you what I'm going to teach you in the upcoming edition of this boot camp. So for my part, I'll be taking on Linux fundamentals and bash scripting for cybersecurity, where you're going to learn all about Linux basic commands, and Linux advanced Linux operating system using bash. Also going to teach you SQL for cybersecurity. SQL stands for query language for cybersecurity. So you are going to learn how to build your own how do they call it? You're going to learn how to build your own database for credential management, and also database for vulnerability management. Also, we also have 42 practicals, like you've been told. So now for these 42 practicals, you're going to be implementing a user account management system to create, delete, and set the expiry date on the user's account on the Linux system, and also how to perform reconnaissance with bash script using nmap. Also, you're going to write a network scanner using bash script, and also create a bash script for modifying firewall rules. These practicals are all under the Linux fundamentals and bash scripting for cybersecurity. Now, for the SQL for cybersecurity, we're going to practicalize credential management system, vulnerability management database, 2FA authentication management system using the structured query language. And we also have other practicals here, just like it has been mentioned to you people for the two practicals.
So
You're going
okay,
to
thank
learn
you.
how to install
Okay,
and configure a honeypot, perform symmetric and asymmetrication, and all these practicals here. Hello.
okay. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. We don't let's just round it off at that. In essence, though, what John was saying was, I mean, what both of them have already said so far is it's a very, very hands-on class, you understand? Because most times employers need people who are hands-on. That's the honest truth. If you are not hands-on and you are certified or whatever it is, the opportunities for interviews and all of that might come, but they will not pick you. You understand? So you really need to be devoted if you really want to get into the cybersecurity space. Now, let me um, quickly share my screen. So what are some of the people in our current cohort saying about this bootcamp? I'm not going to say everything in detail. I'm not going to read everything. I'll just brush through a few of them very quickly because of time. I came across Forward Edge Consulting a few months ago when I was browsing the internet in search of a career path. Anyway, the first call I made to Forward Edge Consulting was impressive. That was what motivated my journey in the bootcamp. Mr. Moyo's professionalism in answering the questions in the field necessitated and gave me a desired conviction to give it a trial. I learned a lot. So through, this is Chimaju, that's her name. Now we have Kenneth Arache. He's he talked about what he has learned with us so far and how he enjoys this. If you want to read more on it, you can screenshot it. You understand? Read what they have to say about us because of time. You understand? These are all professionals working, and many of them are already existing tech guys. You understand? Some were not in tech before, but it's been a great experience so far with every one of them, right? This is Boluma Konju, you get. This is Wanye, so and so on and so forth. Different people from different parts of the world, Nigeria, outside of Nigeria and everywhere. So how can you enroll in this bootcamp? How can you enroll? That is just so how can you enroll in the bootcamp, in for the cybersecurity bootcamp? Now, this is what it costs to be a part of the program, right? You're going to be a part of this program for 6 months if you want to be and get involved in the program for the cost of 750,000 naira. Now, there is an installmental payment which is 500,000 naira in first installment, 250,000 naira 3 months down the line, in the entire program. So, and of course, we already discussed what you are going to learn. The program is starting on the 12th of March to the 14th of September 2023. That's roughly around 6 months. Now, if you, depending on how you, it depends on where you are from. I believe there are people that are outside of Nigeria and people in Nigeria. If you're in Nigeria and you're more comfortable with, making bank transfers, this is your option, right? This is your option. You can pay the amount, whether the first installment or in full, to this account number that is written here. And when you do that, you send your proof of payment to or send a message to this phone number below on WhatsApp. That's that. Now, for those who might prefer to use their cards to make payment, you can visit the website at www.forwardedgeconsulting.com at cybersecurity bootcamp /. For non-Nigerian participants, you don't have a direct access to making payments for this, because you just have to pay with your card. You can't send to our account except you have a Nigerian account. So, but of course, your card works seamlessly on the website. Our payment processor is highly respected all over the world, PCI DSS compliant, everything. That was named Paystack. So all you just have to do, we have no access to your card details. It goes straight to the payment gateway and they deal with that, all the compliance issues. Don't worry, we have an FAQ you can look through. So let me quickly show you. We are located in Lagos, please. Let me quickly show you something. Sorry, let me quickly show you something. How you can make payments on the website. For those who might. We are going to answer your questions. That's why I'm rushing through. I'm almost done. So you head to the website. That's the part of the screen I want to share now. Don't worry, I'll answer. Okay, we're in Lagos. We're at Yaba. That's where the current cohort is training for the physical program, right? But I will explain a little more. Okay, now let me talk about that. So our classes are not physical this time around. However, for those who want to come to the physical, we can actually make an exception for those who want to be present physically. They are virtual, because we don't think it's necessary for you to be physical. That's the honest truth. As long as even the people who paid for a physical class currently realize they don't need to be part of a physical class, because the flow of the class is very smooth. You take your classes, many people don't even have time. Some of them don't come again because they don't have time. Because once we are done with the classes, we record the classes and send them to everybody that is a participant. So you have access to the classes. Now, the first week is week for installations. You install all your tools. You are going to come physically to either our Abuja or Lagos location, and then we install all the tools you'll be using throughout the program, and then you'll be connecting virtually to the classes. So that's how this current cohort is. Yeah, you don't have to be, it's not a physical class, like I said already. So let me head to the website. Let me head to the website. Okay. So as you can see here on the website, this is the web page, the landing page itself, right? forwardedgeconsulting.com/cybersecurity bootcamp. If you want to enroll for the program, you can just go to the website here and click enroll now, the enroll now button. If you are going to be paying with card and you're not doing the direct bank transfer. Okay, so this is the full enrollment fee for this 6-month program, 750,000 naira, right? And these are the details. Now, if you want to pay in installments, what you do is you scroll down a little, you scroll down, and you look for pay by installments on the web page, and you click on pay by installments, 2 installments. And then you make sure you pay the first installment, and then 3 months down the line, of course, when the class is already on, you can pay the balance. So that's how you can enroll for the program using your card, whether you're in Nigeria or you are not in Nigeria. This process works for you. If you're in Nigeria, you can do a direct bank transfer. But either ways, everyone that pays, once you made the payments, whether on the platform, whether on this platform, just send your receipt of payments to us and would complete your enrollment process. You have to fill a form and all of that. Finally, let me share something with you. We have an offer for you guys who are in this webinar right now. So we have a discount, which is a 33% discount. It's gargantuan. But the job, the field you are going to is gargantuan. Like, this is not a fraction of the kind of salaries you'll be paid in cybersecurity once you become one. So this is people taking you for 6 months. So trust me, this money is really not that much. Okay, so anyway, we have a discount for you, Joe. So this is it. If you pay on or before the 25th of February, because the classes are starting on 12th, you get a 33% discount, which means you pay a one-off fee of 500,000 naira instead of 750,000 naira. So if you're paying that 500,000 naira, you have no reason to pay the balance again. That's the discount offer we have for you. So the 25th of that, if you can meet up with the 25th of February. And if you want to reach out to us, discuss with us, you know, if you want to visit us, come to these addresses in Lagos or Abuja. You understand? You definitely meet someone to attend to you. This is our official email address, our official phone number. Now I'm done with everything, so it's time to discuss quickly before we go. Any questions? Let's answer, right? Let's deal with the questions now. Thank you.
So my question is, I'm sorry, good evening, sir.
Okay, good evening.
Yeah, so sir, first of all, in fact, I don't know what to say. This class is something else. It's something else. I've learned a lot, and I can't even wait to enroll by God's grace. I believe God make
Thank
conditions very
you.
fun. So my question is, the classes, the timing, what's the timing like? The schedule of the classes. That's my question, sir.
Okay, the classes are 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Yeah, so it's a nice arrangement because you know people work, you get, so we just make sure it's evening classes for those who you know might just want to relax after work before taking up the class. But don't worry, it's what's important is we always make sure that even for the classes you miss, you have access to them after the class is over. So I hope I've answered your question.
Very well, sir. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Okay.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. So, any more questions before I take the previous questions that we didn't answer before? Any more questions? I think somebody asked, does entry-level certification has to be Security Plus? No, it doesn't have to be. But you know, I think that person talked about ISC square or something like that, and I said, it's not a bad one, but if you want to talk about the most respected, it's still Security Plus. Do your research. And that's why we are focused on Security Plus. Will you put us through to take the CompTIA security certification? Yes. Our curriculum is largely based on the Security Plus. When you get to that aspect of the security matters, it's all focused on the Security Plus curriculum. So absolutely, you understand, it's going to be very easy for you to pass the certification once you're done. Do you have physical classes for the course? I've already answered that question. The first week is purely physical, both in Abuja and Lagos, depending on wherever you want to, you know, wherever is closer to you, you understand. But for those who are not in Nigeria, you won't be able to attend physically except you are coming into the country. You understand? So, but the first class, and that's just because it might be difficult for you to install your tools by yourself. So the instructors are there to guide you. Somebody is going to be in Abuja. Ezine will be in Abuja. John is going to be in Lagos. You understand? To help guide you through the whole process. In the bootcamp, are we going to learn a deep knowledge of Python? No. We are learning Python for cybersecurity. You are not going deep into Python because it's not necessary. But it's Python and its application in cybersecurity. So it's just basic level knowledge. And it's, you know, to your advantage if your employers know that you can, you understand a programming language. Do you have physical classes training? How long will it span for? And can we know the cost implication? I think I've already answered that. So are there further questions? I'm seeing more chats. I love the installments, but no power and any other way forward. The cost of tuition, does it cover the CompTIA Security Plus? The CompTIA Security Plus certification itself is you know, if you are going to buy it normally the right price is around $400. You know how much that would be in Naira right now. So It doesn't. It's almost even as expensive as the entire program. Or in fact, if you are doing it on discount, it's probably is even this program on the discounted window. You understand? Is the certification itself is probably more expensive. And why we are not actually adding that, first, it will be way more costly if we did. You understand? But not just that, fluctuation in prices. You get, I can get you voucher now. You understand? That will cost like 200,000 naira today because it's cheaper, well discounted for Nigerian students. And then tomorrow, maybe we calculated 200K on how much you pay for this training. And then by the time it's time for you to take the examination, maybe we are now buying your voucher for you and it's way more expensive. It's just complicated. So it's best you actually buy your voucher yourself when you're ready for the examination. And if you need our help in doing that, we'll do it for you. So I believe that answers that. The Security Plus is the hottest cake. Thank you. The economy, try your best. We are really trying our best for you guys. It's very affordable. Check how much programs like this are. You understand, outside of the different programs like this, they are usually way more expensive. And you know what you're trying to do for yourself, right? It's an investment in your future. I mean, you're not giving out money, you are investing and empowering yourself for your future. So it's worth it. I mean, I always say something. I'm amazed that there are people I've seen that have relocated from this country, Nigeria, for example, and I'm like, when I look at some of them, you'll be like, how did this person get the money? And some of them even go as far as, borrowing money to do this because they see the importance in what they have to do. Nobody is saying anybody has to borrow money, but if I have to borrow money to do something that will impact my future positively, I'll gladly do it. So that's it. Are there any more questions? And do you have any contribution, Izini or John, before we leave? Before the class is over.
Hi everybody. Yes. So I'm sure you guys have heard and learned a lot so far from all of us. You should also remember and keep in mind that we are people in cybersecurity just like you are. So we are positioned the best possible position to give you what you need to be in this career path, just like we are. So as you go back and make your decisions and proceed to enroll for the bootcamp, rest assured that you're in the best of hands, right? We've done this before, and our proof speaks for us, right? So that's just what I have for you guys tonight. It's almost time for us to end our meeting. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Mo, for actually giving us, breaking everything down so simply and giving us this very, very accurate roadmap that we can use to get into cybersecurity and have that wonderful career and earn that wonderful salary and relocate and do all those things that the world of cybersecurity offers for us. For that, we are very grateful. Thank you so much. All right, barring no further questions, Mr. Mo, can you still hear me?
Yeah. Somebody was asking a question, how much it is in Ghana cedis. I don't know how much because I don't know much about that currency you get. But you can always Google Ghana cedis to Naira or Naira to Ghana, something like that. You get. And what's the name? Then you know that okay, this is how much you need to have in your card when you want to make payments. You get. So, for example, sometimes when I want to shop online in dollars, in US dollars, I know that I have to have certain amount of, there's a way I do my calculation and I know what I have to put in my card. So you just run the maths yourself. So that's basically what it is. The recording, please. Yes, the recording will be available, but not today. That will be on Tuesday latest, either Monday or Tuesday. So you have access to it on a YouTube channel. The link will be shared. I don't know where you are coming from. Are you coming from a group? Are you coming from if you're not coming from one of the groups, then you can as well just chat me up or something. But if you're coming from the group, yeah, you see it on any of the groups you're coming from. Apart from training, how many hours would you advise we dedicate to gain mastery? Apart from the training. Yeah, as much hours as you have, but you spend 3 days in a week learning this whole process. You understand? Of course, what else do you need again? Except you are very, very free. If you are very free, then you can as well, they devote at least 2 hours every day. But if you're not that free, I think the time you spend learning on the classes are okay for now. There's just too much to learn and to digest from the class. So that's it. So are there still any more questions before we go? I don't think there are any more questions. But let's give
I
them
will
a
hope to see you soon. Hope to see you soon.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Azi. Where are you calling from? Where are you reaching? Where are you from? Are you from Nigeria or from where?
Yeah, from Lagos. From
Okay.
Lagos, sir.
Okay, thank you very much,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Azi. Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
You're welcome. So I
Very
think
enlightening. In fact, I was telling someone, so I said someone that actually was searching for this kind of knowledge, unless if someone just bumped on this information, like that's when you don't know the importance of what we just had for these 3 hours. So I was like, we're actually supposed to for this one step that we had.
It's okay. We are passionate about impacting knowledge as much as possible. You understand? Again, if it was possible to even be to make it completely free, but I mean, resources are being used and everything, so we just need to make sure you get. So we are happy and glad that you enjoyed this session. Yeah. Okay. So I think that will be all, right? Can we end the meeting now? Thank you. Bye. Bye. Goodbye.